Welcome to Born for the Trades. I'm your host, Mandeep Bala, sitting next to Shreya, my co-host.
Hi, everybody.
Today, we have amazing guest on our show, Jason Walker, a prominent
What's up?
There you go. Jason Walker, a prominent figure in the HVAC industry known as J, the money maker, with a remarkable journey that person as a warehouse shop cleaner and led him to become a highly successful comfort advisor. Jason has achieved outstanding sales results and earned recognition across the nation with over 18 million in residential replacement sales and a track record of consistency exceeding expectations. Jason's expertise in sales and processes and mindset has transformed the performance of numerous companies. Welcome, Jason, to our show.
Man, thank you for having me. I'm super excited. Shreya, Mandeep, it's an honor. And like I said, man, this is something that we've been working on, but with both of our schedules being as busy as they are. And I got to say, congratulations to you both for having this podcast and creating a platform so people could capitalize and grow to the top of the mountain. And no better two guests or host right here than you two. So I'm super honored to be a guest. Thank you.
Join us as we dive deep into the world of home service entrepreneurship, interacting with industry leaders, coaches, and entrepreneurs about their experiences, challenges, and victories. Through their inspiring stories, we hope to equip our listeners with the tools and knowledge they need to succeed in the competitive home service industry. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, tune in to Born for the Trades podcast for invaluable insight and real-world inspiration.
I used to listen to your podcast in my truck. So it's like
Right?
that. I mean, that was really the first trades podcast I'd ever listened to in my truck was Jason's podcast. So it definitely is like a very sweet moment having you on right now.
That is,
Well,
that is amazing. And you have been consistent. I think you mentioned somewhere, at the True Grid, that having consistency is everything. I think it's been 5 years that you are running your podcast, Jason, and you have been consistent every week, right?
Every week. It drops every single Monday. HVAC Masters of the Hustle. 5 years, have not missed one episode. We're at 225. And I mean, that's what it's all about, is creating content and being consistent and giving your listeners value where they know and trust that every single week something's going to be there for them, and that's where a lot of podcasts struggle is at the end of the day, life happens, right? People, life happens, people get sick, car accidents, things like that pulls you away from the podcast. And for me, when I started, I made a commitment to myself and I said, I'm only doing this if I'm really, really going to go all in. Right. And at that point, that's when I stepped away from a job that I was making, close to almost 400,000 as a comfort advisor, selling over 4 million with a closing percentage of 72% on a tech turnover and 67% on a marketed call. So you got to imagine me walking away. That's a big risk. And, I just had a bigger picture of an impact that I wanted to create and make and really make a legacy for myself when it comes to the trades as well as HVAC.
That's amazing. And there are so many listeners right now. There are new listeners joining and there are like active listeners. I want to give like fresh perspective. Let's start who is Jason Walker? What's your story and what's your why?
Oh, absolutely. I love that question. So my story, people see me on social media and they see, the traveling every single week. They see the nice cars, the flashiness, but, they don't know the story or the journey of what it took to get there. And we'll start when I was a young kid. We talk about what drives you. And what really drives me is being younger. I couldn't speak until like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. And when I talk about communication speaking, like it was baby babble. And I was taken out of class for speech therapy. On top of that, I was diagnosed with severe learning disabilities. On top of that, ADD and ADHD. So growing up, I was in special ed classes. I was taken out of class. My teachers had to read my test for me. And it wasn't that I couldn't read. It was hard to comprehend with what was going on with what I was reading. So now, being part of this, you go to IP classes and, every quarter they're asking you, what do you want to achieve, Jason? What are your goals for this semester? And I'm like, man, I want to make honor roll. You see your friends putting those bumper stickers on their parents' car. They're driving around, their parents are smiling, super happy. I wanted to give that to my parents. And every single season or every semester, I'd set my expectations up here. And those teachers would be like, you know what, Jason, let's just go for a C average. Let's just go for average. And that's how it was my whole life, is people always telling me, let's just do average. And I'm sure a lot of people listening to this podcast right now has also been told, just be average. Why do you want to do that? Why are you going to compromise and sacrifice? And that's the thing, is when you start listening to those naysayers and those haters, it starts to affect the way that you perform. And so being a 3-athlete sport in high school, I was always addressing my peers like, hey, why do you got to get taken out of class? And this is 8th grade. So moving into high school, I went to my parents. I said, man, I'm tired of, having my teachers do everything, taking all these IP classes, and I want to do everything on my own. So all 4 years of high school, I had a weighted GPA of a 3.5. So that's when I really learned, with hard work, dedication, sky's the limits of what success I could achieve, and that no one is going to dictate the amount of level of success that I could achieve. So that's what really drives me. My purpose, or we'll start with my why, is my beautiful family. So when I started this venture, for those of you that are parents, my wife and I, we adopted both of our boys. So we met them at 8 months old, and my oldest is 7 now. My youngest is 2. And so for those of you that held your child for the first time, a lot of time that's at birth, and you get that warm feeling, and you look at your son or daughter and you understand, like, man, my why just got a lot bigger. Well, I held my son for the first time at 8 months, and he came with a backstory, and there was a reason why there was a backstory. And I made a promise to myself that I'm not just here for financial freedom. Okay. I don't ever want my kids to endure what they had to endure 8 months prior to meeting myself or my beautiful wife. And it's my mission to have generational wealth. Now, here's the cool thing about the trades. Okay. The trades is allowing me, I already have financial freedom, but now I'm working on the generational wealth, where now I have 2 houses that are already purchased for both of my boys. So they're already going to be set up. So when they are in that opportunity of the season where they're ready to move out, or after college or whatever it is, those are their properties. So they can move in there, they can sell them, they can do whatever they want. But within the next 3 or 5 years, this industry has been so great to me that I'm going to be working on my grandkids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's how big we need to think. It's not just about ourselves. It's not just about our families. It's not just about our kids. It's how can we be the one? How can we be the one to change the trajectory of where our family's going?
Legacy.
Ed Milet says it all the time, that there's always the one. So if your family is in the season of struggling right now, how can you pull out of that season? How can you be the one for your family? And again, every day I wake up knowing what drives me, my purpose and my why, I really understand that, hey, if I leave, I'm going to capitalize on every opportunity that's in front of me today. God's given me the opportunity to spread love with people, show people what's possible. As I say on my podcast, right? We all have greatness inside of us. It's just, how are you going to tap into that beast? How are you going to understand that Spartan is in us? We just got to pull that beast out. I'm an introvert. And
I don't think so. I don't think so. What did you say?
I'm an introvert. No, if you saw me at a party, okay, I'm the guy that's on the couch away from everybody. Like, I've been working all week at a church event, doing production.
That was my childhood. Yeah.
And I'm the guy that's always in away from everybody, unless it's somewhere where I'm comfortable, like, an event. That's my comfort zone right there. Yeah. I know everybody. With me being on stage, I mean, I'm a mess before I get on stage, and no one really, they go, man, I tell them that, and they're like, dude, you were so calm up there. You delivered
Right.
exactly perfect. And I'm like, man, you should have saw me. My heart was beating. My palms are sweaty. Like, that's why I have to go on stage with so much emotion and passion and throw money out, is because my heart's racing and I got to keep up with that adrenaline that's going.
Oh my gosh, I think it's so obvious with everything that you just said that you're so connected to your why. You are intensely connected to it, and that's why you are a natural influencer. It comes across to everybody that you talk to, and you kind of lead people to connecting to that thing and then give them the tools that they need to actually perform their purpose in their
Yeah.
life through processes. Would you say that that's like a fair assessment of kind of what you're known for,
Yeah,
Jason?
absolutely. Correcting people's mindset. I'm really good at going into companies and really creating not just a great culture, but understanding the foundations of whoever I'm working with, that company, that technician, that installer, that comfort advisor, getting really deep, taking them out to lunch, right? And finding out, like, how did you develop this mindset of where you are today at 35 years old or 20 years old or 25 years old, 50 years old even. What was it that created you to be where you are today? And it's crazy because when I started this journey, Sheree, maybe I thought it was going to be to help people,
Right.
and
Mhm.
show people what's possible. But it's crazy because when people start leaning on you as a mentor and as a leader, right? All of a sudden they start reaching out to me and they start telling me their deepest, darkest secrets
Mhm.
of things
Mhm.
that they've been dealing with in their life, and they need answers and they just need someone to talk to about it. And I've been that people for a lot of different individuals in the trade that's come to me and told me, I mean, and I'm not saying this is crazy, but this is how deep it goes. Okay. Someone's told me that works at a company that they were born a woman and they're a man now. And you would never know. They had facial hair, everything like that. And no
Mm.
one in the company knew.
Yep.
Wow.
So that's what I'm talking about, is that deep of a level of a connection that
Trust.
you're making with
Right.
these people and what they're putting on me. And they're really seeing the bigger value of what we can do,
Right.
really buying into someone.
I think, Jason, I can connect with you because I see you traveling across the country all the time. I am traveling across the
You're
country.
traveling just as much,
Right.
both
Like,
of you.
right. But I think I've never shared this. Maybe I can just share. I never looked at my bank balance, like, business bank balance, invested back everything into relationships because we are all
Yeah.
about empathy, relationships. The one thing that you just mentioned, that sometimes people don't like, speak like over the phone, or they won't like, tell you stuff. But once you go out, once you meet with them in person, that's a game changer. And that's what exactly I think you are doing. You're going, I think, on site. I see with the technicians, and you are going with them, and now they're crushing it with the sales, right? So what kind of influence, like how it happens that the guy was not doing anything before, but after having your influence or your training, and they are crushing it? So what kind of influence you basically have there? Like, we need to know more about it if you want to share.
Yeah. So a lot of times when I go into these companies, they have a limited belief of what's possible, and no one knew that the 4-minute mile was possible until it was happening. Right.
Right.
Hmm.
And when you have such a high caliber person, and you guys got to understand, a lot of these companies, now I go to larger companies that do 100 plus million, 150 million, 50 million, but then I also go to smaller companies. And you got to understand, majority of the companies I go to are 5 million, 10 million, 6 million. So they don't have a caliber guy that could do 4 million, or they've never seen it was possible. You
Hmm.
understand? By running the same amount of appointments, but just working smarter, not harder, capitalizing on every opportunity. And what I find out is a lot of technicians or comfort advisors, they get tunnel vision. They go
Hmm.
through this, the CRM of what needs to be going on while they're out there doing the diagnostic or the tune-up or the estimate. And all of a sudden, they don't look at the full envelope of the home,
Right.
insulation levels, ductwork strapped up, CFM levels. So when you look at the full envelope of indoor air quality and all these different, situations, now you're not just selling a box, or you're not just informing and educating the homeowner on just just a tune-up. Now you're showing them how you could help them potentially put more money back in their pocket or extend the life of their system a little bit longer. And that's really what I develop when I go to companies is, hey, what does your process look like right now? What does the customer experience look like? Because it's all about the full circle, right?
Right.
And that's where a lot of people fail, is they don't understand what the full circle looks like when it's different departments, but it shouldn't be any division, if that makes sense.
It does,
Agree.
yeah. Full diagnosis, full solutions. You're teaching them how to see both sides of that, the personal and the technical, how they connect, and then how do you actually perform that on the call? Because you could tell a lot of people that, but you really show them and help build the process and how exactly you do that. When you go out to these companies and you meet all these technicians and these comfort advisors, when you meet them, are there any similarities you see in people that are going to be top producers? What are the different characteristics that you see with a guy that you know is probably going to be a producer, and then maybe somebody that's going to struggle a little bit more even with the training?
What I found out is a lot of times the people that are go-getters, the motivators, are the ones that are going to reach out to you. So the crazy thing is, and I'm sure Joker Sarah does this as well, and I'm sure, Sheree, you do this when you do training, but you give your phone number out, right?
Yeah.
And I give it out anytime I do an on-site. I give them my phone number, and it's the people that will reach out to you that are going to be rock stars, and it's the ones that are timid of reaching out and scared that are the ones that aren't going to succeed. But what I've noticed is when I'm on site, it's the people that are hungry, that are sitting in the first row, they're engaged the whole time. They're, getting outside their comfort zone. I mean, that's really hard to do, right? I mean, me being on podcasts, me being on stage, that's outside my comfort zone. But I tell them, when you could put yourself in uncomfortable situations and you could succeed in uncomfortable situations, and you could continue to do it time after time after time after time, then sky's the limits of what you can do. So for everyone that's listening to the podcast, I highly recommend you next week, today, get yourself uncomfortable. Ask yourself this question: when is the last time I was uncomfortable? And when's the last time I allowed fear to dictate where I'm going in life?
Right. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, right?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, there was this Dr. Young quote the other day that where your fear is, there's your task. Like, your fears tell you exactly what you need to do. Whatever you're scared of is the first thing that you need to go do. But we usually cast it to a side and live in a comfortable state and stay stagnant. So find that disruptor in your routine. And it's totally true. I used to call Joe at the end of the day on a daily basis. And he's like 6 p.m., at home. And I'm like, hey, I had these objections that I really didn't know how to handle them. He would talk to me for like 45 minutes every single day, right? Star student, front row.
That's what makes Sheree such an amazing rock star, teammate, team member. I mean, I got the opportunity to do an on-site ride along back when you were a comfort advisor, and your eagerness to learn, you're hungry, you already had visions, you had a roadmap already developed, all the important things that are showing that, hey, you're going to be successful. And then all of a sudden you fast forward now 2.5, 3 years later, and look what you're doing now. You're on stage in Las Vegas. You're showing people what's possible. And you're just not doing it in just a normal situation. You're doing it as a woman in the trade, and freaking, you're making a huge impact. I hear women all over the place all the time talking about Sharia and the impact she's doing, and just being a true human being. Because I mean, at the end of the day, there's also women that represent the trades as well that aren't showcasing it in the right way or the right direction, right? So Sharia, I gotta say hats off to you, because what you're doing and representing the women's is in a total different way than I see from other people. And sky's the limits of what you're going to do as a woman in this trade. And I just want to say, I love watching your journey.
You're gonna make me cry, so we better stop
No,
that
don't.
there. And then I'd be a really bad example of I'd be a stereotype,
keep
right?
keep crushing it, Shreya. Always proud of
But
you.
he
And
brought up a good point when
yeah,
he was there on the in-house, right? From an outside perspective of somebody being in the field, I can say that this is why I know so much about his influence is me in that, position where I'm in the field, my technicians. He has a way of, he's so relatable. People trust him immediately. Just like he said, they're going to tell him things and be so honest. That's why he's able to help them so much, because you can't truly help somebody unless they're completely comfortable and honest with you.
yeah,
Otherwise, you don't know what to help. So
right.
it's like, I mean, he was like, it was very obvious his influence there, and the technicians just feeling like he's a part of them instead of
Mm,
this guy that's there to tell them what to do and be better than them and tell them that they're doing everything wrong. He doesn't have that vibe to him, when he
yeah.
trains, and it's
Jason has
very, very
definitely,
special.
yeah, Jason has definitely got some like amazing energy and vibes. That's how like you attract people and have like such a great influence all over. So with your extensive experience in sales processes and mindset, what are some practical tips or techniques that aspiring advisors can implement to enhance their performance and exceed sales targets? I know there is like a lot deep that you can go, but just like overview if you can share. Yeah.
Yeah. So the big thing is staying in the batter's box, the objection box. And this is what I talk about is, if you truly look at objections out there, there's really only a handful, 6, 7, maybe 8 objections out there. And so when you visualize it, and, playing sports, I was an athlete playing baseball. I crowded the plate. And so when I look at these pitches, or when I look at these objections in the house, I know the second I walk in, the homeowner is going to be like, oh, I'm just getting multiple estimates. I'm just kicking it around. I'm thinking about
Mm,
it, whatever it is, right? But what they're going to do is I stand up to that plate and I crowd it. They're going to throw me a high inside fastball. Okay. And
yeah.
what they're trying to do is they're trying to scare me. They're trying to move me outside that batter's box. Okay. But when you have the mindset that, hey, I already know that there's these pitches that are be coming at me. I'm going to practice and build a toolkit to my arsenal. So when they do throw me a high inside fastball, I'm still going to plant my feet. I'm going to adjust my hands. I'm going to keep it in, and I'm still going to make contact and knock the crap out of the ball, right? It's the same mindset when battling these objections. Are what are the toolkits that you have towards your arsenal, right? If
Right.
someone's saying they want 3 bids, what are you doing? Like, I recommend going out and finding out what your competitors are doing and getting estimates from them and building that toolkit. Because at the end of the day, does a homeowner really want to sit for 2 hours with 3 different comfort advisors going through options? I mean,
Not at all.
Hell no.
there's nothing sexy about buying an HVAC system, right? They don't want to do it. So if you're a premier contractor and you could already do that work for them, and you go in and you have 50 estimates and they're looking for 3, first off, here's the thing. If you ask the homeowner, Sharia, if you were to drive around your house in a 60-mile radius, north, south, east, and west, how many contractors that do HVAC and plumbing are around?
I mean, 100, honestly, a lot.
100, right? And that's the answer that I get a lot of times when I ask the homeowner that. So what the homeowner's telling you when they say that they want 3 bids is that by getting 3% of the market is going to justify by making a good decision. Now,
Mm,
who's going to make a good decision based off 3% of the market, right? So now you say, hey, I also understand, why is it that you work for the company you work for? Let's talk about Grasshopper real quick. Amanda Trio, amazing human being,
Yeah.
amazing company.
she's amazing.
So I had the opportunity to train their company for a year and a half, right? And go there every single month. And what happened was the experience that I got to see firsthand. And so the news channels came, everything. And what I got to see was we went to an elderly lady's home, 92 years old, couldn't get her financed. She had extreme bad dementia. Her daughter was at the house waiting for us to get there. her daughter approached me as we got there and said, hey, just to let you know, my mom's inside. I'm her daughter. She's 92. She thinks I'm the crazy landlord lady that's turning off her system. So she might be extremely upset when we walk in. She doesn't identify me as her daughter. Now put yourself in that situation, right? So
Yeah.
as I walk in, I look at the technician and I'm like, all right, so we're going to make sure that we can do anything possible to help this family out. Well, all of a sudden they want to go forward with the new system. We can't get them financed. We tried every avenue possible. Well, I had to jump on a plane after, and the phone call that I got when I got to my layover was, hey, Jason, give me a call back. It's the technician, Christian. So as I called Christian, I said, hey, what's up? He goes, so I went back, dude, and I just wanted to let you know, I was really uneasy about that appointment because we couldn't get that lady financed. So I went to Amanda about it and say, is there anything we could do to get her, like, help? And Amanda installed a brand new system at no cost to him. Well, the daughter was so amazed by it that the next day when they showed up, she didn't even tell Amanda that she called the news channel. So the news channel was out there. They did a full clip. You guys could look it up right now on Google. Grasshopper HVAC New York. It will pop up. And they do the full story for them. Now, their phones rang and rang and rang like crazy. But here's the thing. Here's another thing that I say. After you identify a story as that powerful in a company, you look at your homeowner, you tell them and you say, hey, let me ask you a question. Based off the scenario I told you and the way that my company delivers to the community, if you had 3 contractors on one hand, you had us on the other hand, knowing how we take care of the community, who would you move forward with?
Right.
I think it's all about empathy. I think emotional intelligence, we talk about, it's emotions, right? It's all about people, not just like selling for the sake of selling. I think empathy is like wildly missing, but
I'd
those
pay
who are
more for
applying.
that company.
Or
100%. As somebody, as I could just remove myself from HVAC for a second, because I used to not be, right? I pay for better service. I pay more. It's not even, most people say they're looking for the lowest bid when really you lose the job to somebody that was more expensive than you. And I don't think people ever will realize that. They don't see the other side. That client spent more money with another company that had better service than you. Like, ouch, and you're turning companies into premium service providers, which, yeah, is through emotional intelligence. If they do the right thing when needed and they're a part of the community like that. And, with your sales processes and your mindset, is as someone who's witnessed the potential and opportunities within HVAC, what advice would you give to individuals looking to advance in this field, or more so get into a higher position? Because you just partnered with a company called Personal Plumbing, Heating and Air in San Diego, right?
Yes.
You went from
congratulations. Yeah.
shop sweeper to multi-million-dollar salesperson to a sales coach and trainer, to buying your kids houses when they're little, to partnering, on this new venture is, I mean, I don't even know what else to ask, but besides how'd you do all that? How do you make those transitions, and how do you know when to make them?
So believing in yourself and thinking big. One thing we talked about is not letting fear dictate the outcome of what your success or roadmap looks like, and taking that leap of faith and trusting in yourself and knowing that if you have the purest intentions, with God on your side, I'm a big believer that it's not just me, it's through me. There's someone up above that's doing a lot bigger things, and he's the one that's creating this impact and this bigger splash of what I'm doing, of meeting people and everything like that. So I'm not going to take the credit. I'm going to let the man upstairs take the credit for what I'm doing. But I just live my day to the fullest every single day to make sure that we could create a big impact together as a trade, right? One thing I love about Uncle Joe is Uncle Joe talks about the open hand. And if you were to put sand in your hand, right, it fills up. And when you keep your hand open, you could just pile that sand and you don't lose that much. But the second we start closing and getting greedy and start closing our hand, what happens to that sand? We start losing our people, right? And that's what I always like to do is I like to make sure that my hand's always open. I'm always willing to help someone or an individual, and believing in yourself and showing them that you believe in them as a coach or as a mentor, right? Because there's a big difference between someone coming to a class and getting the information and you really dialing into that individual and really them feeling that energy that you're just bringing through them, right? And you guys
Yeah.
talk about that energy that I bring, and that's just every time before I go on stage, right? I say a prayer to make sure that I'm not there individually, or I'm not there to specifically make a huge impact with everyone in the room. All I want to do is reach one person,
Right.
because
Agree.
if I reach one person, maybe they can multiply it 10 times. And that's
Right.
really what I want to do, is how can I be open, be vulnerable, right? Tell my
Hmm.
story. And I can't tell you how many people and emails I get, or when I get off stage, people go, "Hey man, I just want to let you know I was adopted. And what you're doing for your boys is amazing." Or, I had a technician that went up to me, and this was the first time that I ever cried on the podcast, recording on the podcast. He was placed in different foster homes over 31 times. So
Oh.
that means he got rejected 31 times as a child.
Oh wow.
Like, how does that make someone feel? And he's a rock star today. He actually works
Yeah.
with Weldon Long in at Peak, and he's an absolute rock star of what he's doing today. But that's what I'm talking about. It's allowing the fear or people, the naysayers, dictate to where you're going in life, and just know, have a strong mindset, believe in yourself,
Hmm.
set goals. I never thought that the journey of being a shop sweeper, to being a multi-million-dollar comfort advisor, making well over $300,000 a year, to taking the leap of faith where our training company did 3 million last year. And then you take that, and now I'm going into a journey now where in San Diego, not only do I have a partnership with Bob, and we're building his plumbing company to putting HVAC out there, but I'm bringing my mentor Weldon Long with us, and sky's the limits of what we're going to be doing in the market. I mean, we have 3 locations. We have a location in Anaheim, Oceanside, and then one a little bit further up towards like the border. And the thing that's amazing about this is we're going to create a big splash. And so this is what I'm going to let everyone know is, when I went into this, this opportunity and this partnership, I thought it was going to be ground zero. Hey, Jason, you're going
Hmm.
to hire all of our guys. You're going to set the foundation, the processes, the procedures, everything like that.
Hmm.
That's what it was looking like. But like I said, I owe everything to the guy above, because as we're building this, all of a sudden we're going from a plumbing company that's 5 million, right? And
Right.
there's 0 debt on the company. And all of a sudden we grew overnight, because now I don't have to build the platform. We're acquiring a company, and we're acquiring a very good company, and it has a good establishment in that area. So now, starting July 7th is when we make the announcement of who that company is. But now we're bringing on another 15 trucks of HVAC, plus another
Wow.
30 employees through HVAC side too, plus their database of HVAC. Plus, on personal, we already have 7,000 club memberships that have been asking about us doing HVAC. So now we go to a database now where we're looking about probably 10 plus club memberships, and we're starting this thing in July, and the sky's the limits. Not only
Powerhouse.
do we believe in ourselves so much, we just acquired the full building as well. So we personal just had a little portion of the building. We just purchased the whole side. We're doing a 3-4 month build out. It's going to look dope as can be. My mission and my vision, I love Grasshopper and the energy and the wall wraps that they have, and that's the vibe that we're going. It's like, when you go to work, right, you want to go somewhere that you enjoy to be. Everyone's adults. I mean, we're talking about beanbag chairs that you could work in instead of your office, right? We're going to have a vending machine. So the technicians, when they are done with the training at the company, all of a sudden they're not going to the quick market getting their Red Bulls and everything. They could go to the vending machine, A10, a Reese's drops out, a Red Bull, whatever it is, right? But we want to show that we want them in between calls to come back and want to come back to the office and learn, right? Not go home, not go to the park or a parking lot. We want the atmosphere to be at work like, hey, the fights are this Saturday. Can we get the fights and host a party at the shop? Like that's the culture and the atmosphere that we're doing. And if you guys are interested, we're hiring all positions right now. Everything's open. And like I said, we are blowing this thing up. Our goal and our mission is 3 years. We're going to be 25 plus million.
Jason, you're beyond blessed, and whatever you're doing is like amazing out there. I wanted to ask like one question, because a lot of people like when when I talk to them, right, they're very sad on Monday. Why we have to be very sad on Monday? Because it's Monday, we gotta work, right? What's your take on perspective? Why people should be happy every day, not just like sad on Monday and happy on Friday because it's weekend? What's your perspective on that? What's your take on?
Mondays are Monday motivation. So you got to start your day off right. And a lot of times people start, fading away throughout the week. And the reason why is, what are your rituals? What are you doing in the morning? What are you feeding yourself? I'm a person, I don't watch much TV. I watch a lot of motivational stuff. So in between, in the morning, what I do is I do affirmations. I thought it was really cool. I've been doing a production at the church this morning, and I'm working with the production team. And I mean, this church has thousands and thousands of participants, but I'm learning leadership roles from the church as well. And they bring their team together in a circle.
Amazing.
And they put all the dancers in the middle and they go, we need 10 affirmations. Let's go. Commitment, dedication, boom, boom, boom. And the team's throwing it out there. And then they go, all right, lighting team, affirmations, boom, 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 boom. And everyone's saying stuff. And it's just crazy when you feed your mind the right stuff, you surround yourself by the right people, where your life can go. They say that your closest 5 usually determines where you're going to go in your life.
Right.
That's why I surround myself with Joe Sarah, Weldon Long, Drew Cameron, right? These are the old dogs that are in the trades that have already established themselves and created something special, right? So why wouldn't I surround myself with winning people instead of people that are just about how do I get your money in my pocket? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's too many people out there that say that, and as we're talking about the podcast right now, I just want to tell Sharia, first off, I'm trying to put you on blast, but Sharia is one of those people that stand up for you. She went to an event where she heard someone talking a little negative about HVAC Masters of the Hustle, which was false information, and she knew about it. And if you surround yourself with individuals like Sharia, I wasn't there, I would have never known about it, but she stood up for me, right? She's like, this isn't what that person's about. So I gotta say, when you surround yourself with winners, sky's the limits of what's going to happen. If you're a false person, that stuff will unfold.
That's
Yes, it will. It might seem like it's like it's like fast cash. It's like those salespeople that pressure somebody into buying something right now and pressuring them to get the premium option, and it seems like that guy is winning, but everybody's canceling those jobs. They're canceling them. Like, it seems like he sold 300,000 this month, but 250,000 canceled those jobs because he coerced them, right? So the right thing in the long run is always the right way. And I always have your back 100%. You have a special place in my heart, always. And I know that Joe absolutely adores you, adores you. And now you're the mentor for a lot of people. You're that guy for a lot of people because you've shown respect to those. You didn't call them but oh, they don't know what they're talking about, I do it better. You've shown the utmost respect to the predecessors before you, so that now people get to look up to you as a positive leader. And I wanted to ask you if you have the Maxwell Leadership Bible already.
I don't. I have a couple of his books, but I do not have the Bible.
I'm going to send it to you. I want to
Okay.
send you one of those because it was a gift. One of my mentors gifted it to me, Aaron Gaynor, and sent it to my house. And it
you.
was like one of the best gifts I ever got. So I just feel like that one would be perfect for you.
Thank you.
That's
I
that's
appreciate it.
amazing. That's amazing. I need one copy of that too. All right.
Okay, I'm sending two out.
And let's wrap up. Let's wrap up with blessings. If you don't mind, Jason, I think this is going to be the second time. If we can do some prayer, like, you know, just
Absolutely.
let's bless entire home service industry, service MVP, grow nearby, you know, Jason, you, everyone. If we can do just like make little prayer, that will be amazing. And
Absolutely.
maybe it can like uplift anyone, whoever is listening in the world or everywhere. Yeah.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, please. And
Yeah.
I can imagine I'm holding Shreya's hand and your hand and just a quick prayer.
Hey, I prayed at the table too. That's the type of closer I am. Hey, I need to pray about it. I'm a man of the Lord. Let's pray together.
Yeah.
And then at the end,
I love that.
At the end, hey, did you get the same message as me? Install Monday or Tuesday. So, dear Heavenly Father, as we have all the people across the trades listening to this podcast, I just want to say, please bless them to the highest power possible. Use this podcast and use myself, Mandeep, and Shareya, and extend this 1,000 times more than what we know that we could do, Lord. I know that we're making a huge impact. And as you're listening to this podcast, just know that, you know, believe in yourself, leave it to the Lord, and sky's the limits of what we can in life. So, amen.
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 That is amazing.
I feel so good right now.
It is.
I'm honestly going to work out so hard after this from this podcast.
No, that was amazing. Again, thank you for coming on our show and sharing all these insights. You have such a great energy. Keep it up. Keep spreading positive vibes.
Shirt says believe.
Yeah.
316.
316.
So.
There you go. Love that. I would love to have that shirt.
His
Absolutely.
merch is awesome.
Yeah.
Which, by
awesome.
the way, how can people reach out to you? You know, HVAC Masters of the Hustle, if they want to ask you a question, you know, or anything like that, what are the best ways for them to reach out to you?
You can reach out to my email, jdub@hvacmastersofthehustle.com. You could reach out to Billy at hvacmastersofthehustle.com, my assistant, or you could go to the website, www.hvacmastersofthehustle.com. You could check out all the swag that we sell. And we also have our YouTube channel on there, all the podcasts. If you guys want to know what my training events look like for the remainder of the year, they're on there as well, like little tour dates. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, y'all, for having me to really pour into your listeners and really show them again that we all have greatness inside of us. Just go tap into it. Get yourself uncomfortable, and sky's the limit, y'all.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you so much, Jason.